Greetings, viewers. Thanks for joining me out in the shop today. Time to put that transmission transfer case back up in the Tacoma. Hook that torque converter up, run the kickdown cable, hook those transmission lines up, put an auxiliary cooler in there, put the starter in, see if it'll crank, wire it up, get some fuel. Maybe not all that in this video, but I at least want to get that transmission in there. I'll show you how to take out that dipstick when I get to it. Took all my bolts over to the wire wheel, and wire wheeled them all nice and clean. These are going to be guide pins. I took a couple of old bolts that are the same thread. I got to thread these into the back of the engine block. I'll show you when I get there. I got two of those. I rounded the ends of them off up here to make it slide onto the transmission easier. I find these to be a huge plus, especially when trying to work by yourself to get these in. I like to thread one of them slightly further in than the other one so that they're about like that in the engine. That way, if I can get one caught, I can use it like a pivot point a little bit to get the other one up in there. I'll show you some of that. You guys settle down. I'll show you some of that when I get up in there. This is going to be a bit of a struggle with fishing this cable up, fishing these lines up. It's also, if you remember, this line was leaking. I did take care of that issue, so that's fixed now. This transmission had good fluid, looks really good. 140,000 mile unit. I ain't afraid of it. I'm going to bolt it up in there and see. Man, we are getting so close here. Enough rambling on for now. Let me get up under there and thread these in and show you what I'm talking about there. Oh, and that little plate there too, if you remember, it was all covered with yuck. I got that all cleaned up too. You want to have everything cleaned up and ready. I'll fish my torque converter bolts out here in a minute. It is going to be really hard to get those up in there with this in place, but it can be done, and I'll show you how. All right, now I'll put these in my two bottom-most holes. These will really be a nice benefit when it's time for it to go in, though. Trust me on that. Now I have to take this drive shaft out. I hadn't taken it out yet. So that'll definitely have to come out of the way. Get all those wires out of my way. That's the four-wheel drive indicator wires. The engine's leaning to the back right now because it's just sitting on its motor mounts with nothing else. That's also nice, but you can see it ain't leaning terrible. So yeah, there's going to be some cussing and kicking and screaming probably going on during this process. Drive shaft off. There's bolts and nuts on the back sides. So just go around, take all those out, set them aside. You're not going to need them right away. Oh, well, not too far away, but not right away. Repeat 3 more times. All right, now you probably can't see the difference here. But I've got this one run in to about where 2 knuckles worth is hanging out. And I got this one running in where you probably couldn't tell my measure by my finger, but anyway, I'm about 1/4 inch or so more sticking out over here. That way, like I say, if I get this one started, I can use it as a pivot point to get this one. I don't know if this sway bar is going to be a pain in the ass or not. That's yet to be seen, isn't it? Okay, now I hope you can see this, where this dipstick has a union in it, right down here. That is just a press fit that you can usually get to come loose just by wiggling it. All right, that didn't work, hang on. Well, it isn't coming apart. I clamped it, I beat on it. I tried it with this. I'm gonna heat that up a little bit, see if I can't get that to come loose. Back, dog. Well, that ain't gonna do it. It's just a press fit in there. It should come right apart. Usually they about fall out. Of course this one won't, because that's what I want it to do. Let's see if loosening her up a little bit here will help. Mind your business. Don't catch nothing on fire that it's supposed to be on fire. Watch your face, dog. Watch your face. There we go. Alright, so that took a little heating to get it to separate. Go ahead and pull it out, because it's going to have to come all the way out. I got it started. Stand up. I may have to take my blocks out from under it now after all, because getting a look at it, I'd have to jack it up about another foot, and I don't want to jack it up that high. Yeah, see, there we go. Look how nice and pretty red that fluid is, if you can see it. Like it. I'm happy with this vehicle all around. My donor vehicle was a good one for sure. Use Dextron Type 2 ATF. See what I can do about getting this under the vehicle now. My plan here now, if you can see what it is to turn these jacks sideways after I get these lines passed. But these ATF lines, or these, cooler lines are going to be a PETA, I can tell you that. But I'm going to do the best I can to get around all of the problems, those weird issues. Thread all my crap back up in there and make this happen. Struggling to get it under there is only part of the issue. Struggling to get it up into place is the other part of the issue. Now that I've got this on both of my jacks, what do you want to bet? I won't be able to get it under the frame. Yeah, I'm gonna have to jack up the truck. So, high lift jack time. Alright, high lift jacks. Kind of sketchy sometimes, usually, but can still provide the proper jacking needed. I'm going to wedge it in this corner here. Yeah, where I'm grabbing really well. That'll give me two different angles. Oh yeah, that's a good bite. So, a little sketchy. But you gotta do what you gotta do. I should put a block behind that wheel because I don't want it to roll. A couple more ought to do it, I think. That's just the fenders in the bed rocking around if you hear that noise. Let's see if this is enough yet. Looks like it should be. I don't know if you can see this part of the going under, but it's going under just the way I want it to, kind of, sort of, but it is going under. This might work, it might not. Right now I'm believing in it. Try and go push that jack sideways some. Keeping both of the handles in release mode so that I don't accidentally raise it. Alright, I think I'm going to be able to get that to work. Time to start spinning it around sideways. I think you get the idea. Mostly just ride the struggle bus on that biatch till it's under there. Actually, slowly but surely getting it under there. And don't ask me what Shirley thinks about that. The rest of the handle I took off just so I could swing it under the tire. Alright, so it's under there. This jack's pointing straight. I can't go any further forward because I gotta raise the front and start feeding those lines up over the sway bar and the steering rack. This is where it's going to get fun with blocks and things. There we go. Perfect. Well, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. Transmission fluid everywhere. Alert, alert. That's all right. We need to add some more anyway. All right, so it's going to be a huge ass mess there for a minute. Oh, shit. There it fell again. All right. Hey, there we go. Less difficult. Ish, kinda. Let's try again with a slightly different approach. Well, that's the best plan I've had so far. And get my ATF coolant lines above the sway bar and the rack. I'm pointing in somewhat the right direction now. Feeding my kickdown cable up. Like I'm hitting something somewhere. Oh, there it is. This is my cooler line. Getting in an argument with that power steering line. Oh, hey, that helped. The ATF lines look okay. But I'm hitting something again. Dipstick didn't make it past. But the rust made it directly into my mouth. Directly. Oh yeah, that's what I needed. Despite the giant ATF mess, I still have managed to not get it on me. I'm excited for this at this point. Until I need to start jacking up the back of it to make it go up in there, then it's going to start wanting to get all tippy again. So let's try this. No, I do not think that's an issue with the jack being on the pan like that. It's not going to hurt it. I've smashed some transmission pans wheeling. It's a no problem. Again, I'm not here to argue what's the right way or the wrong way. We're just doing it my way. And that's the right way when you're watching my show. One of the hardest parts of this is getting them dang lines fed through. But they're looking good. Gonna be time to go up with the back. Come on, baby. Work with me at just the right place here. Now that it's up here balanced, this is when it could all go to shit again. It's amazing how jacks will slide sideways when you really need them to. They're getting really close. Try to get back here and get my dang feet on it. My floor is going to be so shiny under here when I'm done. Oh, still catching on that power steering line. Ooh. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. I like it, I like it, I like it. Hooking up in torque converter bolts is really going to suck. You know that, right? Nope. Okay. To do there, I have to take my guide pin out because it's actually causing a problem here because of the four-wheel drive system. So hang on a minute. Well, and like so many things, you are watching me put one of my very first ever automatics in. I can't remember putting more than one. I did one in a 3rd gen 4Runner once. All right, well, I'm almost right on my pens, which is nice, but now I have to take them out. They work. Woo, almost got in that spill. They work with a manual. I promise you they do. Holy shit. See, I ran that one in so far. Why? You know, it's not like it's in a hard to get to place now because the transmission's in the way. All right, hang on a minute. All right, better lighting, I hope, there now. One more time over here, I think. Just about got her in place. Stay out of that puddle. I'm happy, it's close. Like the old saying goes, it ain't over till fat lady sings. And I don't necessarily have a fat lady on hand, but I'll sure as hell give it my best shot to sing like one. To signify that this went in, looks like the dipstick is in the way. It is. Dipstick has to go around. There we go. How about now? Oh, did you just see that? I hope you did. I'm gonna see if I can get a bolt started. I might start going tra-la-la. Oh my goodness. Holy shit. Perfect. First bolt started. Fucking A. Second bolt started. Ow. That was my head. Ow. That's still my head. Don't hit your head. More rust. Right in my face. That was dirt. That's a little better. Alright, got a top bolt started. And if I can get my other hand up there, I think I can run that one all the way in. That would make me happy. To stop hitting my damn head would really make me happy. Let me see what I can do here. Alright. Well, fucking A. Well, alright, that was enough of a suck fest for this time. But I'm not near done for the day. I'm going to get everything out of there, clean that mess up. I'll get back to you. We'll do starter bolts after I get all these tranny bolts in. Looks like I'm going to have a cross member issue, but I can weld. Not scared. All right, well, I got to tell you, I am really pleased at how easy that transmission ended up going. Sure, it was a little bit of a struggle, as you saw. It was a lot of a struggle, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, seriously, there was hardly any cussing, and the frustration level was relatively low throughout the whole thing. I even got 4 out of the 6 bolts to thread all the way in. Now I'm going under with my starter bolts, and we'll take them over and clean them up. Still don't have the torque converter bolts in yet. I can investigate that, show you as well. This will be installed all the way up to plugged in and ready to figure out drive shafts and cross member. So yeah, sorry, lost my train there for just a second. Hang on. All right, 3 down on this side, and I'm starting to warm up the vocal cords. Yes, it does take an extension with a swivel and a 17 on the end to get the ones at the top. You can actually get the starter right through this fender right here. It's amazingly easy to get it with one hand, reach behind the exhaust there and start the bolts. Gonna tighten those up, go to the other side, then it'll be torque converter time and wires. Dipstick needs put back in, fastened. A few little things, I'll get them. Yeah, I'm gonna get all the wires plugged in. I think I'm gonna have to jack the engine back up to get the torque converter bolts in, but I've got all the starter bolts in. And yeah, pretty exciting. This is moving right along and way less difficult than I thought. Yeah, I polished that floor a lot. Yeah, I got up and down a lot, but it's in now and it's bolting up. Feeding the lines and the kickdown cable and stuff through wasn't near as difficult as I thought. I'm gonna get to them wires and I'll be back to you in a minute. All right, so all the wires go on without issue. That's not a problem. The Tacoma O2 sensor wires plugged right into the Forerunner harness. Everything else is hooked up. Time to raise the motor up. I still need to finish. I got most of this kickdown cable threaded into its bracket from underneath. That's pretty easy to do. Still got to get the dipstick in place and the AT lines attached to the side of the engine. Those are things all you could see is me leaning over a fender, so not much to see there. Torque converter bolts are going to be the trick. I don't know if I can get my camera up there, but I'll sure as hell explain it to you and tell you how difficult it was. That'll be next. All right, viewers. A lot done today, mostly the focus underneath. There will need to be a modification to the cross member to make the mount work, but I love to fab stuff up, so that's no problem. I'll show you that when I get to it. I did get several things like the dipstick fastened back into place, the air intake tube secured finally, knocking some more things off of the list, always adding a couple too, like top off the transmission. Even though it is a brand new radiator, I'm still going to put an auxiliary cooler on it so that there won't be any issues with the strawberry milkshake ever happening to this vehicle. Still got those torque converter bolts to put in. It's been quite a day. I'm done climbing around on this thing, but I'll be back with a fresh start on it tomorrow and a fresh set of patience for that tough task. It looks to be like a tough task. So I'll only edit this down a whole bunch so it isn't going on forever, but I'm going to get those in. And then I'll finish up this part of the transmission install. Wow, this is, I'm super happy the way it's going, though, I gotta tell you. It went together great. And all right, viewers, new day, ready to get under there and tackle those torque converter bolts. I'm gonna take them down there with me. Of course, I've got 3 small 14s, one with the weird angle on it. I'm going to take those down there with me because there's limited space. Yeah, I did crawl down there and have a look already. Put your 19 on the front so that you can spin your crank. Maybe get an extension because the handle meets right where these bars do, and you're going to have to be able to turn it from under there. Sorry, that light was in your face. Got my cardboard down today. I like to use the cardboard creepers, but sometimes when you're fighting a transmission and jacks and possible fluid spills and things such as that, it's just too much of a bear to fight the cardboard creepers around, so I just polish the floor with my shirt instead. This job is still going to be tough, I think. There's limited space under there. I think I can get under there and show you. This is one of those jobs that kind of brings the suck, but you just got to do it, damn it. And that's just all there is to it. This has to be accomplished. I'm going to get under there and show you how I'm going to fish my hands up in there and how I'm going to go about it. There are only 6 bolts, but you got to go around and get each one started before you crank them down. Otherwise, you may not be able to get them started. Yeah, so that. But this isn't going to be terrible, I don't think. Let me grab a handle for my ratchet and commence. All right, so I got me a handle for my ratchet. I got my crappy light down there. It might help in this situation. Don't ever buy that light unless you're going to build a base for it that's flexible somehow, because that light is not a good light. It doesn't work well. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. Sorry, got carried away with that. But what I wanted to get carried away with was to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I just recently passed 1,300 subscribers. Doesn't seem that long ago when I was celebrating my 1,000, and that was super awesome for me. I appreciate you all very much. I would appreciate all your likes and subscribes. It really helps me make my thing come true here. I like to share the knowledge of working on these vehicles. I have a lot of customers that actually hang around the shop, and I show them how I work on their cars when I'm working on them. That's kind of my goal with my show, is to share with everybody how to work on your stuff. I have been broadening it some more, mostly still all Toyotas. Probably, well, you've probably seen the preview of the Lincoln. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. Lots and lots of content to come. I don't plan to go anywhere. I really enjoy making my show. I keep trying to make it better. I hope you enjoy it too. So share it with your friends if you feel it's worthy. Like and subscribe if you enjoy it. I'd much appreciate it. Enough about that. I'm not going to pimp any products at you. But if you see something around my shop that, my stickers or my shirts or whatever, please feel free to inquire about them. But my show is free, and I just appreciate you helping me do this, because to me this is awesome. And enough about that right now. I'm going to get underneath there and show you how to do these torque converter bolts. I learned a lot more about those alleged heavy-duty CVs I'm putting in the 3rd gen too, so when I get ready to put them in, I'll share the other information I've learned about them that makes them more heavy-duty, allegedly, and we're going to find out how heavy-duty they are. But I'll go on about that when I put those in, possibly here soon. Okay, now I am underneath the vehicle. This is the steering rack. There is the transmission. If you look up through here, perhaps. Yeah, there you go. You can see them, okay? That's one of the holes in the flex plate. I can actually get 2 of them. You can kind of see them both in the picture there at a time by holding my mouth just right and spinning everything accordingly. Can't tighten them 2 at a time. Maybe with the wrench. I don't know if I can even get a ratchet in, but that's going to be seen here in a minute. I'm going to be putting my hand up right here in this space, and I can reach up in there. You can't see my fingers up there, kind of, and I can touch the back of that flywheel. Okay, so I can take the bolts up there. I can start 2 at a time. Right here is my crank. There's my pry bar and that light. Sorry about that. I always bitch about that light. But anyway, so I can do everything from under here now. My face is pretty close to everything, but that doesn't bother me. It's only slightly ridiculous, this angle. But here I got the bolt pinched in between my fingers. Squeeze my hand up in there. I'm going for the furthest away hole first. Now, to line up your torque converter with your bolt holes, because it won't be anymore, there are holes in the flex plate. You can easily stick your fingers in there, and that torque converter spins very freely. I want to pull these up as tight as I can with my fingers and still give them room to move. Yeah, I'm going to have to spin the engine around and do them 1 at a time. All right, I went ahead and set that up. Give you an idea what's going on, kind of, sort of. It's not terrible, as you'll see. I need to spin the engine. Fairly easy. Just take your time when you get on the compression part and let it bleed off, and then it'll go around. That will probably fall off. Take the bolt, squeeze right up in there. I gotta tell you, if my hands were any larger, I don't think I could get them up in there this way. Looks like I may be able to even hang a wrench down through this opening. When you get to your 6th one, that's where you start cranking them. Made it this far, didn't we, dog? Yeah, we did. Okay. I got it. You went under the wrong car. I got it. Woo-hoo. I got it. Go get it, buddy. Okay. Back under here. I'm gonna try a shallow 14 first, which kind of looks to be the ticket. I'm gonna have to steal my cheater bar. Hey, I can get my other hand over the top of the steering rack to help hold that. That's awesome. Yeah, when you're loosening them, they hit against the oil pan notch. If you watched that video, you saw that part. Now this way, I'm cranking it. I'm spinning the engine right now, and it'll spin your ratchet over until it hits the oil pan flange. Use that as your leverage point. There we go. Now that's how tight they need to be. I'm sure there's a torque spec. You may want to look that up. I'm going to spin around to the next one here. Repeat the process. Get it closer to the oil pan other side in the first place. Now that you brought one up, two, you can reach up in there and spin them much further in with your fingers. Not that bad at all. Really thought this was going to be harder than it is. Yeah, I thought that transmission was going to be a lot harder to get in than it was too. So a lot of pleasant surprises in this part of the job. Don't forget, as excited as I am to crank this over, something has to be hooked up to those transmission lines before you crank over your motor. As soon as that transmission pump comes on, you're going to have a problem. Well, all right, viewers, I guess it's time for me to bust out singing like the proverbial large woman, because I got her all in, torque converter bolts done, transmission in, that's all hooked up and done except for the cross member. I'll make that. Next video will have a lot of hookup details with the smaller things, and then the final finish wiring I think will be a thing and a go from there. We'll have to see how that all works out. You know me, I don't really plan a lot. Now, putting that dust shield on is a delicate dance all its own, similar to feeding a starter in a 3rd Gen 4Runner, if you know what I'm talking about there. I'll let you figure out how to get that up in there and done. So yeah, I am super stoked. This baby's going to be on the road and going before you know it. If you like my show, like it, please. Subscribe if you want to see more. I got a lot to come, a lot going on. And this baby's getting so close. I'm so excited. So thanks for joining me and the critters out in the shop again for some more on the Tacoma project. Super appreciate you all. Have a great day.